Okay, so last night I had a rough day, and like after my walk I had a kind of a rough walk, and there's some shoes right here. Actually look like a pair of shoes I own. 5:55 right now, 5:55 a.m. But I asked God to renew my spirit after last night, because I just felt so lost and scared in like space and in time. Like I just felt like I didn't know what dimension I was in, like really having man, like not grounded in a reality I think is shared with other people. And like all night long I kept like stirring awake, but then like falling back asleep, and I kept like I was almost having like this dream, or like I don't understand what was going on, but it was like I just kept thinking like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, now I remember, like, and it was like some sort of spiritual grounding that I was feeling, because it was like, oh yeah, now, yeah, I understand, okay, yeah, I forgot that. It was just like kept thinking things like that. So it was kind of like I was alive in the other dimension, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can stop freaking out. But I don't remember any of like the details, any of the things that made me feel comforted. But it was just such an interesting experience. I'm so grateful for it, because I woke up in so much of a better mood. I felt so lost last night. That trash doesn't mean anything to anyone but me, probably, but my sister donated, I got all kinds of rocks in my shoes. My sister donated all these snacks, like prepackaged individual snacks that she wasn't going to use in time, and she wasn't eating. So I have a whole bunch of stuff. I have like electrolyte water. Like she gave me so much stuff for my lunches, and I've passed a couple of people that were, sleeping, like literally like asleep on the ground out here in a chair, and it's kind of heartbreaking to me just being my local geese. I don't want to film this because it's like kind of gross, but I keep finding like whole wings everywhere, like multiple sets of wings every time I go for a walk. And I normally don't know, like we see that like once in a while, like here or there. I don't think much of it, but it's so much. So last night after I got home, and I was asking God to help me feel a little better, because I was like really just not having a good time with thinking about how I don't have a way to prove which reality I'm in, I don't have a way to prove that I've been experiencing multiple realities, and I was just consumed by fear. Like it was rough. But I started reading this book that God put on my path, and immediately in the beginning of this book, like, let me show you, like it almost immediately kind of went into this person talking about the Matrix. Like it's quoting the script of the Matrix in this book. And I don't know that I'm being guided to share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. My experience of God is similar to the movie The Matrix, except not in a bad or terrifying kind of way. Like what I mean is, like in the movie The Matrix is bad. Like it's being used against us. And in some ways that does happen, but my experience of God is that God is the Matrix. God is the energy that is allowing itself to be used at our free will to create our world. And because love is unconditional and it doesn't control, it allows us to manipulate that energy at our free will. And when we agree that things are difficult here, God is saying, okay, like, if that's what you really want, like, I don't want you to use me that way. You have to come together to decide a different reality, but here you go. Please choose something better. So I see God, that's how I see God in everything. And that's how God is able to know every hair on our head and every experience we have and every emotion we have, is because all of the substance that life is made of God, because God is lending its body of energy to us to create this experience. And as unsettling as that can be in terms of not knowing what's real and what's not real, knowing that everything is made up of the energy of God, which is love, and the suffering, from carrying around stuff like beliefs and stuff, it's not like necessary. We can let go of it, but there's an underlying love there that I think a lot of religious people understood that I didn't understand most of my life. Like, I didn't understand where they were coming from, and they probably maybe don't see it that way, don't see it as like similar to the movie The Matrix, but that feeling of being held by God, I didn't understand that most of my life, and I'm grateful that I now have an understanding of that. So far this book has been right on time. And then, like, last night, I talked about it a little bit, but I just want to talk about it a little bit more. I felt like I returned home in my sleep, and I was with my team, and they were like, oh, it's okay. Like, I had just woken up from a nightmare or something, and they're like, it's okay. Remember, this is happening because of that, and this isn't real, and this is okay, and this is part of the plan, and this, and like, they were comforting me and calming me down. And so I woke up feeling like comforted like that, except I couldn't remember any of the details. Like, I had to come back, and I wasn't allowed to take any of that information with me. But I was able to bring that comfort that God and my spirit team were providing for me on the other side. And it makes me remember, like, it reminds me of those couple experiences I was having where I was waking up from my sleep feeling like my consciousness was being lifted back into my body, like I was being brought back into this experience, and when I was asleep my consciousness had gone somewhere else. Yeah, I feel so much better today. But I thought, since that worked so well last time I read something, I just was wondering if maybe you never know, like, I don't know what's going to come out of this, but maybe there's something that kind of relates to that weird dimensional shift thing that I was experiencing. I mean, I'm sure there is stuff in it in here, but who knows, like, you probably wouldn't see it that way until you're asking. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Proverbs 29:18. In all gospel dispensations, the church has been led by visionary prophets who see the big picture and inspire the saints with a compelling vision of the future. We too can live with faith in the Lord and hope in the glorious gospel plan. We need more than a positive mental attitude, more than goals and dreams and personal mission statements. Those things may make a meaningful difference in our lives, but the Lord wants his followers to be the people of faith, people who are obedient and worthy to receive personal relation, people who draw upon the powers of heaven in humility, people whose confidence waxes strong in the presence of God. Vision and faith go hand in hand. When we have the meekness to look to him and live, we are blessed with a belief in others and in life. We recognize humanity's potential for greatness, and we see beyond the here and now. Every worthwhile effort is fueled by faith in the Lord. Last night, something that I read in here, what was that? when Jesus said, "The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." I think Jesus is talking about the enemy, the thing that steals, kills, and destroys is fear. It is fear that inspires like all these lies that are told to feed itself so that it can keep living. Like if you're afraid of your neighbor, then your mind starts making up all these stories about why you should be afraid of your neighbor. But Jesus came here to speak truth, to kill the enemy, to kill the lies, to kill the fear, and the way to fight fear is with love. Something else, what was it? It was about God's full glory being mankind fully alive. I don't know what it was, but it was God's full glory is manifest in man fully alive. And I agree with that, except I think it might be easier to understand if it was worded like mankind fully awake. Because it's hard for us to be fully alive when we're not fully awake. If we aren't aware of the potential, it's kind of hard to aspire to that potential. Like this is man's view of what our potential is. Like most of us were just aspiring to like here, and his aspirations were like way up here. Like he had visions of things that, most of us didn't think were possible. And like the thing is that the human, like where we're looking at things, it's like there's a glass ceiling for us, and God's like, no, this isn't anywhere close to what's possible. What's possible is way beyond. It's way up here. But you're limiting yourself because you're too committed to these false beliefs of this is how the world works, when you really don't know that's how the world works. It only works that way because you believe it to be that way. It's your faith in the limitation is causing the limitation. Probably the hardest thing for me out of the 4 agreements, which I recommend for anybody who's trying to make changes in their life, positive changes in their life, was the don't make assumptions. Like that has been so destructive on this journey for me. It has been so destructive, and I keep being wrong too. The origin of your action. Yeah, the assumptions. Action is our ability to create the world we want and to engage others in the dream of the planet. The dream of the planet is our agreed upon reality. Like the sky is blue, the ocean is this, the things that we think are fact, we agree that that's what they are. It is the manifestation of our intent. In our interactions with others, it is inevitable that sometimes we'll disagree about the best way to proceed in anything. This is unavoidable in human relationships, and it's okay. When you take action or engage others with whom you have a disagreement, the most important thing is to keep in mind your intent. Before taking any steps in defending your position, ask yourself, am I coming from a place of love or a place of fear? Only when our intent comes from a place of love rather than a place of fear do we create peace in the world and in ourselves. The practice. With awareness today, notice the intent of your actions. Do you speak and act from a place of love or from a place of fear? You are more likely to be understood in an argument and will find reconciliation more quickly if you can communicate from a place of love. Yeah, that's definitely been my experience. I still have so many questions. I have so many questions about how I got to this point where I can open something. Like, part of me is like, this is a gift. Like, God gave me this. Like, I mean, God did give me this, obviously. He gives us all life and all of this God has given us. But I know what I'm here to do. So I know that a lot of me getting to this point, like, I know I was guided because I was here for a specific purpose, but I had to do a lot of like inner work to get anywhere close so that my team could kind of guide me toward the right direction, because they've been baby steps, like lighting the lamp unto my feet. My team has been the lamp unto my feet. Something that really shifted gears in this for me is when I was using my oracle cards, it kept telling me to write a letter to my inner child, and eventually I did do that, and that really shifted things, because I thought that I accepted my inner child, but when I started writing, and part of the exercise that I did was I wrote a letter from child me to adult me with my non-dominant hand, and I struggled so much, and I was shocked at the things that came out. My inner child, I think, still thought that I hated her. She thought I cast her away, and I was like, I didn't realize I felt that way about that part of myself. And when I shut away all of my memories of my childhood, I wasn't consciously trying to shut out the person that I was, but the experiences. But unfortunately, I couldn't separate that. And so what happened was I shut out that part of me so I no longer identified with my inner child. And it seems to be that the inner child is how we're most closely connected to God, because we haven't yet been completely bombarded and overwhelmed with all of these filters. So I recommend trying that, or something similar. Maybe, if you're not comfortable writing, if you're, say, drawing or painting or doing something, maybe try doing it with your non-dominant hand, and imagine that it's the child you struggling to do this task that adult you finds so easy, and see, do you have patience for that part of yourself? Because man, I didn't. I was getting so frustrated, and I think it really reflected some feelings I had about myself that I was unaware of. But once you become aware of them, it makes it a lot easier to address them. I'm gonna go work on my cards now. I have so many new stamps. I'm so excited. This is so random, but I just got up to go make a cup of coffee. And I just was like, yes, chef, in Hell's Kitchen. And it made me wonder, is there somebody who's an aspiring chef watching this? I don't know where that came from. I don't know what that's about, but I was like, yes, chef. And I was like, I don't want to make cards that say yes, chef. That's a little odd. So I just want to throw it in here so that I don't have to write it on my cards. We are not questioning. We're not questioning. We are just being faithful servants. I don't know if this has anything to do with the yes chef, but there's also something coming through the name Chris. Chris. I don't know who Chris is. I don't know if Chris is a chef, or I don't know if Chris is a man or woman. I don't know. Chris and yes chef.